Shalom, shalom to all of you who are watching this channel through the Ways of Israel. And I just want to welcome you and just share with you something that during this Shabbos or Shabbat I was looking at. And that is considering everything that's going throughout the world, everything that's happening. As we know, the forces of ISIS is arising. And it came and dawned on me how as if the world is preparing itself to bring back the return of the concept of monarchy into our world system. Obviously, you can argue that our current president has been operating as it was in a very monarchical form by his pen and cell phone. But in reality, I wanted to bring this idea to you, the concept of the return of a monarchy, because this concept of a monarchy, a system of monarchy, is something that we see that has passed the age of time. And there are very few countries which can be numbered that you can say there is a real monarchy. And you have, for example, Spain that operates with a monarchy. You have England, and you have Saudi Arabia. These are known monarchy systems. In Iran, the system that's operated there is also a very similar form of a monarchy, or you would rather say a theocracy. Now these two systems seem to be meshing together because the whole concept of reestablishing the caliphate, according to Muslim concept, is an idea to have one man rule an entire world. And this is where we get into this concept of a monarchy. Why is it possible that through a hierarchical system it operates, as it were, more efficiently than through democratic processes? And so the question I pose is, are we ready to handle a monarchy? Is the world ready for a monarchy? Now, why am I bringing this up? Because obviously, whether you're Jewish, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Christian, whether you're whatever different belief systems, the idea of one person ruling the entire world would send the average person into a state of shock. I thought we got rid of that. I thought we are now in a democratic process. My friend, we haven't. We haven't learned. And unfortunately, one of the things that continues to return is this concept of a monarchy. Those of you, be it Christians, be it Muslims, and be it Jew, whenever we wish for the Messiah, wherever we wish for the concept of the Mahdi, wherever we wish the idea of the Christ to come and rule, people do not understand a very subtle nuance. In all three religions, they all say, we want the kingdom of God. We want the kingdom of God to rule here on earth. They have no idea what that means. For you Christians, you know, you always speak about the kingdom of God. Malchut Hashamayim, the kingdom of heaven. Concepts that really are Jewish concepts. It was later expressed in other sister faiths as Christianity and Islam. But what does that mean? Kingdom of God. Well, this is where the concept of monarchy comes into birth. The idea that the king rules by the hand of God. God grants the rulers. He removes the rulers. He puts and takes as he sees fit. He removes and yanks out governments and replaces them with other ones. So when we talk about the return of a monarchy, we're talking about a system of governance quite like the past. As a matter of fact, the whole concept in Judaism about the Messiah really arises from the concept of a king. A unique king, a king whose heart is for God and to establish godly rules upon the earth among men, so that men would not eat each other up. It is here where we find the problems arise. Our sages says that when the Messiah comes, let me not see him, because it's going to be considered a time of agony, of horror, of terror, a time of upheaval. And yet, this is what beats in the heart of both the Jewish faith, of both the Christian faith, and even the Muslim faith, which they are trying to bring that about in their own theological, eschatological mindset. So, with this in mind, we have to ask ourselves, do we want truly a monarchy? Do we truly want the kingdom of God, a theocracy, to be established in this world, in which God will rule mankind through human mediators, through messengers, or the messenger? Now, I want you Christians in particular to think about this, and also the Muslims that are watching me and the Jews. Because anywhere where there is absolute power, there is the possibility of corruption, absolutely. This is a real danger. When you have one sole person having the complete control of your life, of your future. And yet, in all of the religious diagrams, presentations, we all cry out, we want Mashiach now. As if having the Mashiach is going to resolve all of our problems, all of our hopes, all of our expectations as indicated by the prophets, without considering for one moment, what if we'd hope that this person is the anointed, but rules the world, but not according to the godly plan. This is truly something that has not been considered in none of the three faiths. Obviously, Judaism has suffered its hits with false messiahs, false kings, false usurpers of the throne, all the way from the destruction of the Second Temple till this present day, where you've had would-bes and could-bes and should-have-beens and would-have-beens. And they all failed the role and the paper and the development of the Messiah character in all of its totality. And now we have what Islam is now presenting, which is the return of the caliphate, which those who don't understand is very in-depth with Sunni mysticism, with the idea of which you will have the return of one leader who will control the entire world and set up a system of governance that will maintain theocracy, a theocracy according to Islamic law, the Quran, the Hadith. Now, our sages said that before this final exile, that there would arise the exile of Ishmael. And some have interpreted that this is happening today. And that prior to that one, or after that one, then will arise the true messianic recovery, as it were. Those of you who live in countries that are considered democratic or socialist, all of these principles that we are talking about will be completely revoked. Democracy will end, socialism will end, communism will end, and a system of global monarchy would rule. This, in essence, is the quintessential reality of the monotheistic faith and their presentation of one person governing the entire world. For Christians, that's an antichrist system. This would be a system that would be defeating the purpose of the liberties that they have come to know. Unfortunately, the very Christian faith teaches the concept of one man ruling the entire world and everyone submitting to that one person whom they call Jesus, or the Messianics call Yeshua. We Jews don't believe he has come. He could have been. Maybe he should have been. Maybe he would have been. But the reality is he wasn't. And this has caused many people to shake in their faith in the one God. Interesting enough, whenever this issue of a global monarchy arises, people of faith begins to lose faith because the horrors that such powers take on is that of what we've seen in the past, of dictators killing, endless lives in upheaval, destruction to no end. Yet there is a hope found in the words of our prophets, that each man will be able to sit underneath its tree and learn directly from God. This is really the hope of all humanity, where we would all know God, and the knowledge of God would be so vast that no one would need to teach us, that these videos would not even be needed. Could you imagine? Through the website there are so many teachers being presented to you, all different points of views, and yet all with one intention, to bring you, the viewer, closer to the infinite, to the Creator, to bring order, sense, and meaning to your lives by the rule of law, biblical law. Be that the Torah, the written Torah, the oral Torah, be it through the Christian concept of the rules of the kingdom, or be it through the Muslim concept of bringing everyone to submission, not love, but submission, by force if it's necessary. These three concepts are now coming to the forefront in a battle for the soul of the world. And as our present government has introduced a freedom which gives them the power to remove our individual freedoms, and has opened the door to elements that has never been opened before, we can even say today that it is very possible that the great United States, God forbid, can no longer be, and can be completely toppled by forces that undermined it from within. There is truly no separation between the political ideas and the religious ideas of today. You might trace this concept even from the founding fathers of this country. We were enabled by our Creator that we have unalienable rights, or we have rights. And unfortunately those rights are removed once there is a monarchy or system that by the rule of law establishes a one ruler order, be it through Christianity and believing in Jesus, submitting to His rule, or be it through the Caliph, through their Mehdi, in submitting to their force of law, or even to what we still await, the coming of the Messiah, the Anointed, who will bring the world to an illumination and an awareness of God directly. And yet, I ask you, the viewer, in the return of the monarchy, can we, as a people of this world, handle the changes that is coming? I want to leave you with that thought, and this is the purpose of this video, to bring thought to the question I just raised. Shalom.